All right, Bible readers, today is Psalms 107 through 117, and I'm going to talk about a simple phrase. It shows up in Psalm 116:1, and it says, I love the Lord. And it's followed by the word because. And the psalmist lists a few things, but we're not going to talk about that today. It's a simple statement. It has immense power. When we tell someone, I love you, those are weighty words. If they're truly meant, and if they're truly accepted and felt by the receiver, they're some of the most powerful words that we can speak. And what's amazing is in the entire Bible and all of its thousands of words and thousands of chapters and verses and all of it, the phrase, I love the Lord, only shows up one time. And it's right here in Psalms 116. So I don't know what that means, but it got me to thinking, why do I love the Lord? Why do you love the Lord? You know, the psalmist had his reasons. We're not going to look at those. You can look at them for yourself. It's just an issue of, I often think about, why do I love the Lord? And I have a lot of specific reasons why I do. But here's what I know. In the Bible, in 1 John 4:19, it clarifies this issue. We love him because he first loved us. That's ultimately the only way that we can love the Lord, is because he loved us first. Without that, well, we would have never had the capacity to love our Maker, because without him, we just wouldn't have had the mechanism to do so. Okay. Psalm 117, this is the last chapter in today's reading. And in verse 2, it says something really interesting to me. It says, the truth of the Lord endureth forever. But the question is, and I want to challenge you to think about this, where is the truth of the Lord? Where is the truth of the Lord? Can you hold it in your hands? Now, I've had this Bible. I got this Bible when I was a kid. It's the first Bible I ever read front to back, because I was just dumb enough to think that's the way people read the Bible. I was about 10 years old. And so by the time I was 11 years old, I'd read this whole thing. Consequently, I've read this book, this exact one, many, many times. I'm currently working my way through the Bible for the 26th time. I do it on my phone now. So the question is, where is the truth of the Lord? Can you hold it in your hands, or is it in your heart? I have many people tell me, that generally they're people that don't actually read the Bible. But they'll tell me that, I had a lady tell me this just the other day, that God gave her his words. And I don't know if that's the height of ignorance or the height of arrogance. I'm not sure what that is. The Bible does say the law was written in our hearts. But to say this whole thing is written in our hearts, well, first of all, that's not what this book says. This book's explicit that the law was written in our hearts. But the law is only part of what this book is about. So don't confuse those issues. So where's the truth of the Lord? Is it out in nature? A lot of people say things like that. They want to connect with God, so they go out in nature. Hey, nothing wrong with that. He made all that. But God is a spirit. He's not in those trees. He's not in the grass. Okay, so don't confuse that issue either. For years, the Bible in Latin was chained to a pulpit in Roman Catholic churches, because they didn't want the common people reading this thing, because guess what? This thing has power. It's a two-edged sword. It'll cut you both ways. It'll read you. It'll kick your religion. But at one point, it was chained to a pulpit. History likes to kind of euphemistically call it the Dark Ages. Well, it was the Dark Ages because the Roman Catholic Church was keeping God's words, keeping the truth of the Lord from people. And they're still doing that today. What about this one? Is the truth of the Lord hidden in, like these dark halls? Imagine like an old ancient library or something, and somewhere in the dark crevices of this ancient library that somehow God's words are there. Is that where they are? I don't know. Where is the truth of the Lord? I think, this is my personal opinion, that if you have a final authority, like I do, because this thing's my final authority. I don't put myself above this book. I don't put my feelings above this book. I don't put what some author said about this book above this book. This book's my final authority. 1 John 1:1 says, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Okay, so when I hold this book in my hands, I don't know. It's a tough call. There's a certain kind of reverence I feel when I hold God's words. Okay, I don't worship this physical book, but God magnified his own word above his own name, like we talked about in a couple of videos back. So this word is powerful. So I would challenge you, figure out where the truth of the Lord is for you. Be persuaded in your own mind and choose wisely. Okay, that's it. I'm out. I hope you have a great Bible read. And again, reach out. I'd love to talk to you. Have a good one.